I still remember the way the morning light cut through the pines as I drove back into Willow Creek, Tennessee, on June 12, 2012. The air was thick with summer heat, the kind that sticks to your skin and makes you crave shade. I'd spent the night at my cousin's wake a few miles out, a somber affair that dragged into the early hours. My name's Ethan Carver, 33 years old, a farmer scraping by in this quiet corner of the South. My wife, Sarah, was waiting for me, or so I thought. The gravel crunched under my boots as I stepped out of the truck. The familiar silhouette of our little house coming into view. It's a modest place, with siding weathered by time, a porch that creaks with every step. But something felt off. The front door was locked tight, a detail that hit me like a slap. Sarah never locked it when she was home. Not in a town like this, where folks leave their keys in the ignition half the time. I fumbled with my key ring, but then I remembered. If she wasn't out running errands, she'd stash a spare in the loose brick behind the kitchen. Old habits die hard. I trudged around back, the silence pressing in. No birds chirping, no hum of the radio she loved, just a faint buzz of cicadas. My hand reached into the gap, groping for cold metal, but came up empty. No key. My stomach twisted. She's at the market. I muttered to myself, trying to shake the unease. I plopped down on the porch steps, the wood warm against my jeans, and waited. Half an hour crawled by. No Sarah. No sign of her beat-up Chevy in the driveway. I pulled out my phone and dialed her number, the ring echoing in my ear. Then I froze. The faint trill of her ringtone, some cheery tune she'd picked, drifted from inside the house. My heart kicked up a gear. Sarah never left without that phone. It was her lifeline, her tether to me when I was out in the fields. I bolted to my feet, adrenaline spiking, and jogged next door to the Miller's place. Mrs. Miller, a wiry woman with sharp eyes, answered my knock. "Morning, Ethan," she said, wiping flour off her hands. "You all right? You look pale. Have you seen Sarah?" My voice cracked, betraying the panic clawing at me. "She's not home, but her phone's inside." Mrs. Miller frowned. I swung by earlier, round 6, to see if she wanted to hit the market with me. No answer. Figured she was still asleep. Didn't spot her at the stalls either. I barely heard her over the blood pounding in my ears. I called Sarah's aunt and sister, both in town. Neither had seen her. The world tilted under my feet. Something was wrong, dead wrong. I didn't think twice. I grabbed a crowbar from the shed and smashed the lock off the front door, that would splinter with a crack that echoed through the stillness. The door swung open, and I stepped into chaos. The living room looked like a tornado had ripped through it. Broom tossed in the middle of the floor. Pill bottles scattered across the coffee table. My breath hitched. Sarah was meticulous, borderline obsessive about keeping things tidy. This wasn't her. "Sarah?" My shout bounced off the walls, unanswered. I bolted to our bedroom, the door gaping wide. The bed was a mess, sheets tangled, but what stopped me cold was a lump in the center, draped with a thin blanket. My hand shook as I yanked it back, half expecting, half dreading, to see her. Relief flooded me for a split second. Just pillows, her favorite hub pillow shoved beneath, but the relief curdled fast. The room was trashed, drawers half open, clothes strewn about. Someone had been here. Someone who wasn't Sarah. I tore through the house, room by room, calling her name until my throat burned. Nothing. Then I remembered the backyard. We had a little vegetable patch out there. Her pride and joy, and beyond it, an old well we dug years back for water. I stumbled outside, the morning sun blinding me, and froze. Her hair tie, bright red, the one I'd tease her about, lay in the dirt near the patch. My eyes tracked the ground. Drag marks, fresh and jagged, stretched toward the well. Every nerve screamed as I sprinted over, peering into the dark mouth of the well. The water glinted 10 feet down, still as glass. And there she was, Sarah, floating face down, her naked body pale against the murk. A scream ripped out of me, raw and guttural, as I staggered back, my mind blanked, hands clawing at my hair. She was gone. My Sarah was gone. I don't know how long I stood there, shouting for help, before neighbors swarmed in. Their voices blurred into static as I sank to my knees, staring at the well like it might swallow me too. Someone, a kid, I think, called the cops. All I could do was watch, helpless, as the nightmare unfolded. By 7:10 a.m., Willow Creek Sheriff's Department rolled up, 2 squad cars and a rescue truck screeching to a halt outside my house. Sheriff Dan Hargrove, a grizzled man with a perpetual squint, took charge, barking orders to keep the growing crowd back. I stood there, numb, as they cordoned off the yard with yellow tape that fluttered in the breeze. The well was narrow, barely 4 feet across, its brick walls slick with moss. The water sat 4 or 5 feet deep, a murky grave for my wife. The rescue team rigged up ropes and a hook pole, one guy leaning over the edge with a high-powered flashlight. "Got her," he called, voice tight. They worked fast, threading the hook under her shoulder, 2 men hauling her up with steady pulls. I couldn't look away as her body rose, dripping and lifeless, her long hair plastered across her face. They laid her on a white tarp, gentle as if she might still feel it. The forensic team swooped in, their white suits dark against the green grass. Hargrove crouched beside Sarah, his face hardening as he muttered to a deputy. I edged closer, catching snatches of their talk, words like bruising, lacerations, submerged. My stomach churned. What had happened to her? "Ethan," Hargrove said, standing to face me. His tone was clipped professional, but his eyes softened just a fraction. "We're going to figure this out. You see anything odd when you got here?" I recounted it all. The locked door, the missing key, the phone ringing inside. He nodded, scribbling in a notepad, then turned back to the scene. The lead forensic tech, a woman with sharp features, called him over. "Sheriff, you need to see this." She pointed to Sarah's neck, a purple band of bruising, and lower, where a razor blade glinted, embedded in a vicious gash near her groin. I gagged, turned away as bile rose in my throat. Who could do this? They found semen inside her, a detail Hargrove didn't sugarcoat when he briefed me later. "Looks like assault, Ethan." She fought hard, scratches all over her arms and knees. Time of death's likely 10 to 12 hours ago, around midnight. Midnight, while I was at the wake, playing cards, laughing with kin. Guilt clawed at me, sharp and relentless. The house became a crime scene, deputies swarming every corner. The living room's mess wasn't random. Sarah's embroidery hoop sat on the couch, needle still threaded, half a flower stitched. She'd been working late, like always, picking up extra cash with her crafts. The bedroom told a darker story. Blood speckled the sheets, faint but undeniable, and a smear streaked the bed frame, like a finger had dragged it there. Too short. Straight hair stuck to the pillow, alongside clumps of dandruff. Not mine. Not Sarah's, with her long, wavy locks. Under UV light, a crusty white stain glowed on the pillow. Semen again. My fist clenched. Someone had violated her here in our bed. Her slippers were scattered, one flipped by the bed, the other wedged under the dresser. The bastard had rifled through her things too. Her underwear was wadded up in a corner, and our stash, $800 in cash and her grandma's gold necklace, was gone from its hiding spot under the dresser. Outside, the drag marks led straight to the well, her bare feet gouging the earth in a desperate fight. Hargrove pieced it together. She was attacked in the bedroom, killed there or close to it, then dumped. No forced entry, though. Door was locked when you got here, right? I nodded, dazed. Means either she let him in, or he slipped through a gap we missed. The razor blade haunted me. We kept a pack of clouds in the bathroom, cheap, reliable. I showed Hargrove, but he shook his head. The one in her? It's a Gillette, different brand. He brought it with him. Premeditated. Cold. My mind raced. Who hated us this much? Willow Creek's a small place, maybe 300 souls, nestled in the rolling hills of Tennessee. News travels fast, and so do suspicions. By afternoon, whispers pointed to Jasper Kane, a roughneck in his 30s who lived half a mile down the road. I knew him. Hell, everyone did. He'd been married once, but it fell apart after he got caught screwing around with a widow in town. Now he lived alone, scraping by on odd jobs, nursing a reputation as a lek and a gambler. Sarah used to be tight with Jasper's ex, so he'd hung around our place a few times back in the day. Friendly enough until the scandal. After that, we kept our distance. Hargrove latched onto him quick. Jasper fit the profile, broke, desperate, and a little too interested in women who weren't his. Plus, he'd been at my cousin's wake the night before, skulking on the edges while I played cards. I remembered him there, nursing a beer, eyes flicking my way now and then. Had he known I'd be gone? Had he watched me, waiting? The thought made my skin crawl. Hargrove's team hit Jasper's place that evening. The front gate hung ajar, no answer to their calls. I tagged along, too wired to sit still. A white t-shirt dangled on his clothesline, streaked with dark brown stains. Blood. Hargrove guessed, his jaw tightening. Inside, they found signs of life. A pot of chicken stew on the stove, a coop out back. Jasper claimed the stains were from slaughtering a hen, and the half-eaten bird backed him up. Then a woman bolted from a house, hood up, sprinting like the devil was on her heels. A deputy nabbed her. Lucy Dunn, a loner from the edge of town. She stammered out a story. Her and Jasper had been fooling around when the cops showed. Too embarrassed to answer the door, they'd hid, hoping we'd leave. Jasper confirmed it, sheepish but firm. No alibi for midnight, though. He lived alone, no one to vouch for him. They took his DNA anyway, swabbing his cheek as he smirked. Ain't me, Sheriff. I'm no saint, but I don't kill. The results came back fast. No match. The semen, the hairs, the dandruff, all someone else. Jasper was a creep, sure, but not our creep. The killer was still out there, laughing at us. Days dragged on, the town suffocating under grief and fear. Then I remembered Silas Reed. He'd been at the wake too, a wiry guy in his 40s with a sour face and a scalp flaking like snow. We clashed that night, nothing big, just dumb drunk talk over cards. He'd lost bad, $250 gone in an hour, and I'd raked it in. He'd hovered by me, slurring advice, scratching his head till dandruff rained down. I'd snapped, told him to back off, go home to his sick ma. He'd glared, a cold, hard look, but stayed till late. Silas was a widower. His wife drowned 3 years back in the creek, a tragedy folks still whispered about. I'd been there, too drunk to dive in and save her, a failure he never let me forget. He lived with his folks and 3 kids, barely scraping by, and he shaved with Gillettes. His boy showed Hargrove a half-used pack when they searched his place. The forensics clicked. Brittle hairs, heavy dandruff, signs of scalp fungus. Silas had it bad. Everyone at the wake had ribbed him for it. Could he have snapped, turned that petty grudge into murder? They hauled Silas in on June 16th, the day after Sarah's funeral. I watched from behind the glass as Hargrove grilled him. Silas fidgeted, scratching his head, flakes dusting his shoulders. I didn't do it, he growled, but his eyes darted wild and cornered. The DNA hit like a hammer, his semen, his hair, his dandruff, all over my wife. His story collapsed. I didn't mean to kill her, he spat finally, voice breaking. It was you, Ethan. You and your damn mouth. He'd stewed on our fight, the money he'd lost, the years of resentment, my wife's death, my cowardice. After the wake, broken, raging, he grabbed a knife and a gilet, planning to rob me blind. But I wasn't home. Sarah was. He'd crept in. She left the door ajar, trusting as always, and found her stitching. Lust took over, twisted by hate. When she fought, he strangled her, then defiled her body, slicing her with a blade in some sick frenzy. He'd dump her in the well, stole what he could, and locked up, thinking he'd won. I wanted to smash through the glass, tear him apart, but all I could do was listen as he unraveled, a pathetic, broken man undone by his own poison. Silas Reed faced trial that fall. The evidence buried him. DNA, the razor, his own words. The Tennessee Supreme Court sentenced him to death, a needle waiting to end his miserable life. Willow Creek tried to heal, but the wound festered. Folks called it stacked deaths. My cousin, then Sarah, an old superstition about doom piling up. I didn't buy it, but the whispers stuck. I sold the house. Couldn't sleep there, not with her ghost in every shadow. The guilt ate me alive. Why hadn't I come home? Why'd I let Silas fester? Looking back, I see how thin the line is between peace and chaos. A card game, a few harsh words, and a man's darkness spilled out, taking everything I loved. Silas wasn't a monster born. He was made piece by piece by loss and envy. But Sarah, she didn't deserve any of it. Willow Creek's quiet again, but it's a hollow kind of quiet. I'm left wondering, how many more Silases are out there waiting for a spark to set them off? And how do you live knowing you might have lit it?